Hey guys, so today we're doing jewels and stones on LeetCode. So you're given a string J representing the types of jewels and S representing the types of stones you have. We want to see how many of the stones are also jewels. So the letters in J are guaranteed to be distinct, and all the characters in J and S are letters. The letters are case sensitive, so small a is considered a different type from capital A. So for example, if our input string S is small a, two capital A's and a series of B's, and J is just a small a and two capital A's, we need to return 3. And that's because S has one occurrence of a small a, which is a character in J, and two occurrences of a capital A, which is also in J, so we need to return 3. And because it's case sensitive, if S is two uppercase Z's, this won't match with our lowercase z in J, so we need to return 0. We can start with our example input, J, which is going to be equal to small a, capital A, and S as small a, two capital A's, and a series of B's. So one way we can solve this problem is we really just need to look at S and count all the occurrences of each element in J. So we can check for each element in S if it matches J, and if it does, we can increment our counter. So we can do this via a loop, and we can loop through S for each character in J and check. So for example, we can start with this small a in J, and then we arrive at this small a in S and say, are these letters the same? If yes, let's increment. Is this capital A small a? No, it's not, so 0. Same with this A. Is this B a small a? No, 0. It's not, so it's going to be 0 for all these B's. And then we move on to the next element in J and say, is this small a the same as this capital A? No, it's not. Is this capital A the same as capital A? Yes, it is. So return 1 for both these A's. And is B the same as this capital A? No, it's not. So in the end, we can just return our sum as 3. And this operation is going to be something like order of nm. So m is going to be the length of S, and n is going to be the length of J. And that's because for each element in J, we're going to be looping through S once, and we're going to be checking every element in S whether it's going to be equal to the element in J. So we're doing 2 loops here because there's 2 characters, and we're looping through S twice, so it's going to be n times n. So a more efficient way of doing this problem can be to use a hash map. And because hash maps store key value pairs, it can be quite a convenient way just to get an overview of all the different types of letters that occur in S and also their frequency. So we can loop through S once, and we can kind of return this information in the hash map, and then we can look up each character in J in this hash map, and then we can return the count of each letter in J which are in this hash map. So for example, let's loop through S once. We can ask, is this small a in our hash map? No, it's not, so we can add the A. Is this capital A in our hash map? No, it's not, so we add the capital A. Is this capital A in our hash map? Well, we already have a capital A here, so we can just increment our count 2. Is this B in a hash map? No, it's not, so let's add it. And then is this B in a hash map? Yes, it is. So if we just loop through the rest of S, this is going to become 4. We have 4 B's in S. So now we kind of transformed S into a hash map representation. We see we have 1 small a, 2 capital A's, and 4 B's. So then we can just look at J and say, well, for each element in J, we can just do a quick lookup on this hash map. So if we look up this small a, we see we have 1 here, and this capital A, we have 2 here. So all we need to do is just sum these 2 numbers, return 3. And the order of this operation is going to be something like n plus m. And that's because in order to get the hash map, we've only had to loop through S once. So that's going to be order of n. And for each element in J, we've had to look up something in the hash map, and then we've had to sum it together. So it's going to be n plus m. So we can have a quick look at this in code. So I've got this in Java on the side, and so here I'm creating my hash map, and then here I'm looping through S, and I'm saying for every character in S, let's check if our hash map contains the character. If it does, then we're going to, for example, if this capital A is already in a hash map, then we just increment by 1. Else, if it's not in a hash map, then we just add it to a hash map with a value of 1 to account for its first occurrence. We then create an integer called num_jewels, which is going to be set to 0, and we're going to return this variable num_jewels as our answer. And then, so once we have a hash map, we're just going to loop through J, and for each character in J, we're just going to check, does a hash map contain this element? And if it does, then all we need to do is we need to add num_jewels to whatever this number is. So because it's smaller in capital A, we just say it's going to be num_jewels is going to be 1 plus 2, which is 3. And then we return num_jewels here. And I've run this already, so I see that it works. So that works. And then we can submit it and see that it works. Cool, so if you found that useful, like and subscribe, and see you soon.